Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Key of W playing Artisan of Glimmith again for the billionth time in the last 2 days. I love this game a lot. Um, and recently we've been trying to make a bunch of windows silver, so I did these windows in the last video. We've also got some bejeweled windows. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. I barely know what it means. So I'm going to actually move on and do some other types of puzzles in this video. I'm going to do some stuff in this area because I've got a window over here that needs some restoring. Do we have an easy puzzle here? So what's the rule in this place? Oh, we're just putting together the rules I've been doing for the past couple videos. So we got precision, mingle shape, and polyomino. Well, I know that these have to be together because mingle shape means that things that are next to each other have to be different shapes. If I put borders here, these would be the same shape in different regions. Doesn't work. So I think that's that. We have to have 4 shapes. So up here has to be an eye shape. Right? What else can fit in here? T shape is going to cause a problem. O shape doesn't fit at all. It can't be an S shape. So L shape, but then that forces another L shape. So that's an I shape. The T's have to be touching each other, and then of course we have to do that. The L's have to be touching, which means they have to go into here. All right, I shape there as well. We have an S shape here. T and L. I think I have the whole thing settled. Nice. Avoiding difficult puzzles, not because I don't like playing difficult puzzles, I just know they take longer, and I'm still in the part of the game where I want to be like doing 25 puzzles per video, not 2. Precision, mingle shape. Well, we can't have an I piece down in this bottom section because we'll make a problem there. So we have to have an L piece, which is going to force I there, which is going to force L here. So we can't have an I piece here because that does another problem. We have to have L, but can't bend the left, has to bend to the right, which is going to solve the puzzle for us. Great. Look at that. Let's see what we got. Another one. Let's just get these easy ones out of the way. Just do that. Okay, so polynomial with Gemini and Delta. No mingle shape now, don't have to worry about that. So elbow has to go here. This is the only way you can do it, and here as well. So it forces a singleton there. Now, we have to put a single here, but we cannot put one there. Have to put an elbow there. So the T shape, it looks like, okay, well, that's just going to be easy. This is going to be a little trickier. This piece can't be a single, so it must touch the T shape like this, and that's that. And by trickier, I mean completely easy. How about up there? There we go, a little more difficult. Okay, these two have to be the same shape. That's all I got to worry about is how this works. Now, is there any way that this shape touches there? I don't think so. The only way this shape... yes, there is. This is how we touch the shape, the Gemini with the S shape. But that would require that, which isn't going to work. So the Z shape cannot touch that. It must be this way. This is going to make the... It is going to force the V shape because it can't be bent like this because where else are we going to put the V shape that doesn't interfere with those guys? So it's going to force that, and then we lose. No, okay, hold on. Let's look. Is there another way to make this shape that I didn't think of? I don't think so. Right? Because this is the top edge of the thing, so this can't be the centerpiece. It has to be one of these two or one of those two, which is just symmetrically, radially symmetric or whatever. So that's a possible thing. That's a possible thing. So I could also look at the size of the map. We got 5 by 5, that's 25 cells. We have 4 pentominoes, that's 20 cells. So if any of these touch the Gemini, it has to be, we'd have to fill the entire grid with pentominoes. I don't think that's possible. This feels like the only way to do that, which now is going to set us up pretty badly. This L shape would have to go like that, which now doesn't give me any space for that. So I definitely got to figure out a different way to arrange this one. This seems like the way, but it just is not good for this spot here. Let me look at a different one. Because this L shape, if I extend it here, then I can't use the N shape anywhere. Like I can't, this is not the right L shape. It's got to extend that way. If I extend it up here, this is more like it, but... Oh no, hold on. I think I can actually do this with two Z shapes. That is how you do it with two Z shapes. Suddenly the scales have fallen from my eyes. It is in fact 5 pentominoes, not 4 with a bunch of singles. That one got me. That one got me good. Anything else hidden in these back corners? That one's hidden, but it will become activated upon a later date. More Gemini and Delta. Gemini and Delta. Yes, that's what it is. Gemini and Delta is kind of one of my favorite rules. I like this set. Feels like you can do a lot with it. Like, it's one of those sets that makes you think a little bit harder about what you're doing, whereas some of these other rules, as good as they are, kind of tell you up front. This tells me up front two things. It tells me not only that this shape has 4 pieces in it, but that it is this exact shape. So I already know this kind of thing. I also know it's not going to move leftward because then I'd have to put another O shape here, and that's very obviously not an O shape. So that's what we have to do. Those are set. So now I got to put a Z shape in here, or an S shape, whatever, from the tetromino set, which is going to have to be that. So we can't put one here. So the only thing we can put here is a single, which is going to force us to do another single there. And then I need to put 2 L shapes here. That's the way we do it. Yep. How are we on this window? Getting close. We got some rose windows with more Gemini. Oh, dear. Well, I know that these shapes are going to take the T. You know what? We might have mirrored shapes across this line here, right? I don't think there's any way to make it radially symmetric. I think it's just symmetric over this vertical line. So that means this just repeated. And then... Is that right? Or does it go further? Well... Going down, we can't extend into these spots. We can't extend here. We can also just fill in like so. I think that's actually the key. Yeah, that's the key. There it is. See, the thing about this, like, in this game, I've noticed there's a lot of rules that have overlap. I could do this puzzle with a different rule set, right? If I took out the Gemini... and I just said rose windows and match the rule we did in a last video, 2 videos ago, the rule set where all the shapes have to be exactly the same. It would do the same thing. So there's multiple ways to express the same puzzle. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It's working out so far. Polyominoes, deltas. Okay. So this definitely is part of a T shape. So is it this way or is it this way? Either way, this T-shape touches there. So we can't have T-shapes here, which means this T-shape needs to be blocked. And that's the only way we can do that. So we got to have singles there. We've got to have a T-shape here, but it can't move down. That's the only way we can do that. So we've got single again. This has to be T-shape. And it can't be that because we have a single, so we have to do it this way. But now this is the only way to do a T-shape here, and we're screwed. So that's not the only way. That's the other only way to do a T-shape. And this way and that way, I think we're good. We can fill the rest of this in. Nice. Nice puzzle. Rose window, Gemini, polyomino. Excellent. Oh dear. Okay, so what we got to do in this one, these 2 shapes, or these 2 rose windows, are going to take an extraordinary amount of pieces and have to be mirrors of each other. Both of these need to touch the Gemini. And then these 2 shapes need to touch the polyominoes. So I have to find a way to make symmetry out of this. And I think the way we're going to do it is we're going to look at this 9-cell grid here. I think that's what we're going to look at. So I'm going to start with red here. That's going to cover all of this. And then I'm going to do blue, which covers all the rest. I think this is right. Because now I have to find a way. So this piece corresponds to there, right? And then this piece corresponds to here. So I've got to put an L such that I touch those pieces. So is it going to be this and that? Oh, let's get to this. Can't be right. This isn't the same shape. Oh, hold on. It has to touch the. Hold on. It's got to touch. This is the shape. That is the shape. Cool. Let's get rid of these borders. Now it doesn't match because I got to put the other stuff in. There. That's how you do it. Another way to think of it is, all right, so these two have to be the same. Whatever the shape is for these, you have the tetromino plus the missing piece. And the tetromino plus the missing piece needs to be the same shape, which is, in this case, a mirrored F shape. And I think I have to sneeze. Woke up feeling kind of under the weather, so I thought, why not record a bunch of video games? Because what else am I going to do? And I think it's important that when you're watching your favorite YouTuber, it always sounds like they're about 2 seconds away from death. Okay, this is the same puzzle, but not. Okay, so once again, we have to have these touch. Let's make a prettier red. Make a prettier cyan. We got to bring these out. Got to bring that out. So I've got to have a way to do these pentominoes that forces. I need them to be symmetrical to each other, but instead of the previous puzzle where they were in separate regions, I think I need to make one big region here. Obviously, these two are not part of the same region, but in a sense, I can't have this going on. I don't think. So let me look at the ways that this piece can connect here. Now, one of the ways is this way. But then how would I make this symmetrical? I don't think that's possible. Another way is this way. And in fact, this is the solution. Check it out. That is it. And now all we got to do is fill in these parts. This and the previous puzzle I think are really interesting. It's a way to like use just rule sets to come up with a really interesting sort of story to tell. And that silverizes the window. So I'm going to jump to, is there another window in this area? Tell you what, I'm going to now press on and make this one gold. I like jumping around a bit. So this is going to require some slightly harder puzzles probably, but we'll do that. I'm going to still leave off all the 6s and 7s for later. I've had about a 50-50 success rate with the 6s and 7s as far as how much I like them, but we'll see. This is a forced move. So now this is a forced move. We just have a lot of forced moves here. This is forced. We've gotta. Now we have a couple ways to do it. This one certainly has got to go there. And then yeah, we've got that forced, and then here we go. Oh yeah, I got to fill in all the rest of these things too, don't I? How do I get? Maybe it's under. Yeah, I'll figure out. It could be through. Is there a glimpse through here? Oh, I remember looking for this puzzle. Maybe is there a glimpse through here? A glimpse through there. There's also a puzzle here. 5s and 4s and 3s. Let's do the 3. Mingle shape. Oh my god. Okay, so this just looks. It's eyesore. It's just so much stuff on the page. Well. I'm going to start here. We have to have a plain domino with this square, because whatever direction we take it, we're surrounded by squares. So bringing it up would force the circle in the top left to move to the right an extra space, because if it moves down, it would create another domino. Going this way would require what? It would require this circle to not move left, and if it moves up, it would have to take that space. It could move out. Moving down would require this one would also move down. I know this is part of a domino, that's for sure. Do we have the same issue here? No. I don't think there's any other spot that's as obvious, right? Because then we would have some. Like if any of these were forced to be dominoes, we'd know it's connected to the square. Right? Because this piece here, if it connects to that square, that's no good. We'd have another domino here. But this piece could easily connect to there or to there if this doesn't go down. But if this goes down, what's that tell us? Well, I think this can't move down. I think we have to put a border here. Because if we don't, if we cover this here, now what does this piece do? Oh, it can move up, it doesn't touch. Is this workable? This is a puzzle that feels like I'm making guesses rather than having a logical thing. I don't like that. Even if this turns out to be somewhat easy, it's not a matter of, oh, it's too hard, wah, 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 I hate hard puzzles. It's more like the challenge is entirely in randomness, and it really doesn't feel like, and here is the logical progression of the puzzle. I know this obviously isn't part of that one, but if we were to make this move down, we'd have a domino, and then we would be forced to make these moves here. This piece would be forced to go at least 4 spaces. This one would have to move rightward, like so. We'd have to take this space. And then we would have 2 elbows, I think. No, we wouldn't. This would just work. So yeah, that was a guess. I just took a guess and then ran with it. I don't think I'm supposed to do that. It's not fun. Let's try this 4. All regions must be O shape, elbow, or an L shape. Alright, down in this corner here, we can't have an L shape, an L tetromino, because, well, this one doesn't touch a square. This one touches 2 circles, so does that. This touches 2 squares. So this has to be an elbow or an O shape. Okay, well, that just narrowed it down a little bit. This one here could be any of the shapes, I think. Down here, we have a similar issue. An L shape is going to touch 2 circles. So it's elbow or O shape. How about in here? Right, this can't be an O shape in the center. If this is an O shape, we either touch 2 squares or we touch 2 circles. Therefore, it's got to be an elbow or an L. Now, an L shape obviously can't go up. So if it went this way, we'd be fine. This way would be fine. Actually, elbow shape would not work. This is an elbow, this is an elbow, this is an elbow, this is the elbow. It would have to be one of these. No, so it does work. But so does that. Does it? No. I can't make this shape. Because then what do I do with this one? Right? This, we can't have this touch. Right? This circle must touch that square. But now mingle shape, first of all, doesn't follow, but then no shape fits there. So I can't put it there. I think we're going to have the same problem here. So I think it does have to be an elbow moving down. Probably have done this a little bit earlier. It could move left or right from here, though we're not totally sure. Okay, which circle do we touch here? It's got to be an L shape. This is an L shape I can do. This is an L shape I can do, although it causes a problem there. This doesn't accept that now. Yeah, so this can't be an L shape. Or this can't be an O shape. It has to be L shape here. It can't be an elbow. So this is forced, I believe. We can't have an L. We could have an elbow here, or we could have an O shape. Elbow shape would do this. And this would be bad, because now this would have to be an L shape, and we have nowhere for this to go. Right? Because this piece would have to take, then now we have a single. So this is the O shape, which, again, this is still the truth, but now the elbow's to go in here. Alright, this could be an L shape. No, right, because it can't. It has to be an elbow or an O shape. It has to be an elbow, because this has to move down. So, like that. which means this now has no shape for it. Okay. Okay, smart guy, what is it supposed to be? Let's go back. Let's go back a bit. We have these blocked off, obviously. This piece can't be an elbow. This can't be an L. Or sorry, this can't be an O. So it has to be an L shape. It's got to touch one of these. Touching this one is a problem, because then this piece must be part of a shape, and it would end up being part of the L shape. This causes the exact same issue, therefore we have to move down. So I think that is required. Now, is there anything else I can do here? I can do an elbow shape like this? No, because then what do I do here? Up here can't be an elbow, can't be an O shape, it would have to be that. Now we have an orphaned piece. Same with that, we'd have an orphaned piece. There's no way this is the O shape. There's no way this is the elbow, because then we can't put anything there. So I think this has to be O, but this is leading us into a lot of trouble. We can move it up this way. Yeah. Because then we can put an elbow in an O shape or an O shape. Yeah, elbow in an O shape, because that, yeah, this corner here, we have to put that in. So this has to be part of an L, because the other two are touching it. Is it this way or is it this way? This way does not work because it forces an elbow here, and then what the hell do we do there? So that is taken. So now with this corner, we have to have an O piece. And then it's going to put an L up here. It's going to put an elbow there. And then that's it. I made that harder than it needed to be. For shame. I think I should take to heart that if we ever have the mingle shape rule, there will always be at least 3 possible shapes to make. Because you can't do mingle shape with only 2 shapes because there's going to be corners like this, right? So you can't possibly have it be that. I don't know, it's possible in really rare circumstances to only have 2 shapes, but generally you need 3 or more. And because this shape bank only has 3, you're going to create scenarios where there's a cell touching 2 other shapes, and it forces the 3rd shape. So you have to just make sure you never put yourself in a situation that's more complicated than that. Alright, this is leading here, I hope. Or is it leading up there? I don't know. It's kind of doing both. Let's take this puzzle right down here. Polyomino. How? Ooh, what do I put here? There's 2 ways around this. There's this one and there's that one. This version of the J shape is impossible because now there's nowhere to put the Z shape here. Is there any other arrangement of this? I don't think so. It can't be part of this. Yeah, it can't be part of it. Has to be that, which is going to force an S shape here and that. That's forced. And it just kind of feels like I'm guessing. Like, I'm not really guessing, but it just kind of feels like I'm like, whatever. I'm not really thinking too hard about it. I think, yeah, this breaks the puzzle, so something's wrong. Because we'd have to do this. And then what do we put in there? So if I go back and I said, oh, I know exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be this. My addiction to making the pieces fit really nicely is causing the problem. That's what it is. Okay. This has come out. This has come out. I think this T shape is forced. That one's forced. Let's see. We can have pieces that aren't T-shapes. Just make sure everything is a T-shape. What goes here? If I bring this up, we're screwed. So we do have to do it this way, which is going to bring us there. Right? Is there any other way to do that? There isn't really. Right? Just checking. This piece goes up. And then it can't move that way because then we're going to cause a problem there. And it can't move that way because of a problem. So it is, in fact, here. This is required now. This is no good. No, it's fine. This is fine. I thought I had that set up wrong. We're good. And then we have a couple empty spaces in the middle. Okay, we got 3s, we got S's, we got O's, and the polyomino tells us where we have to put them, I guess. Well, this is set. Okay. What piece goes here? This can't be an S piece because it would go like that, and then we can't fit a piece there. Therefore, we have to have that, which is going to force another piece there. As this piece, this is fine. No, this is not fine. If I put a triomino here, it's going to force one there. It would mean this is bad or this is bad because now I can't put anything in there. So I believe that's got to be an S piece. Would this be a good spot to do it? We'd force, I don't think it's right. We'd force this piece in and we'd be screwed. So this can't move that way. It would have to move this way, like this. I think that's right, and I think this is right too. Except it isn't. No, I've got to put that in there. But then I'm screwed there. Let's think about that again. Can this move? Can't move up that way. I'd love to find a place I could stick. Yeah, this is kind of going here. Can't do that, so it would have to be. But now I'm just screwed no matter what I do here, because that doesn't fit. Did I just make a nice assumption here I shouldn't have made? Right? These are required. There's really nothing I can do about that. Let's start in here. This can't be an O shape, and this can't be triomino because it causes that. So it does. This is required, which requires that. Can't have that shape, so this is still required. In here, it can be that shape. Well, we could always do it this way. I think I definitely made an assumption down on this bottom corner. Yeah, I definitely did. That's it. Anything else down there? Let's find a few more. Yeah. G Willikers. Is there a way to get both of these shapes together? Probably. No. So to get both of these shapes together, I have to find a spot on the G where there's a piece down to the right, right? Down 1, 2 to the right. The spots are this one right here, this piece, I guess it's visible. Down 2 to the right is the end of the G. But that touches the domino. Now, if I do this spot here, it doesn't touch the domino, but now it goes too far off the edge of the screen. If I do this spot here, goes too far to the left and touches a domino. So let me look at how many spaces we have. We have 6 across, 5, 30 cells here plus 5. This takes up 5, 8, 13, 14, 17. So 2 of these together would be 34 spaces. So we do have to have this touch somehow. Where else do we have? Right? Because if they didn't touch, well, how would I even make this shape anyway? Where do we have 5 uninterrupted spaces going side to side? Right? Here, here, and here. Oh, so am I stupid? I should just rotate the shape. But now I gotta do rotation of the shape in my head. So, like... No, it's gotta be the other way. It's gotta be like that. They've all gotta be... They've all gotta be dominoes. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's settled. That is. This can't move that direction. And it can't move that direction because it touches a domino, so we're done there. That's done. That's done. This has to move that way. I think the rest of this is going to solve itself. There. Okay. This is 5 across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it can go either direction. Great. This one, however, must move to the right. Can't move up. So we must go that way. At least that far. This one's got to go that far, at least. Here we go that far. And then we got down, we got another one of these. Huh. This is going to be forced up and down. Great, so actually I have this one settled. This is going to be forced up and down. That's settled. That's settled. Oh. Now here, I believe that's going to force us with this piece. And we should be good. Let's do a 4. Okay. Huh. Well, okay, this shape here, this ring with the missing piece here, that missing piece has to be there. Any arrangement of this cannot touch that. It has to be like that. So we have a single piece in there. And now this one, this J piece, it can't be stopped there because then it would have to go down into an empty space. So it has to go up like this. And then it can't move that direction. It's got to move this way, which means this one has to move like that. So we have a couple more empty spaces. Our only T-shaped bit can go there. That leaves another empty space. We got to have this move out that far, and then it can't move up because it blocks the T-shape in. So another T-shape like that. Get a few more of those. Now this H shape can't move down there, so it's got to be like this. Now our J again has to move this far and then that way over, and I believe we can get the rest of these. And C shape can be like this, and I believe that's the puzzle. That one ended up working out for me pretty good, I think. There's something down in here. Yeah. Okay, S shapes, so we got L shapes here. Another S shape. This one, I think, is just follow the logic as it comes. I should remember I can rotate with the scroll wheel. I keep forgetting about that. There we go. A couple more and we'll have ourselves a nice shiny gold window. Where's the rest of this stuff? They're all 3s. It just depends on what type. These are the only ways to make triominoes. We have the straight triomino and we have the bent one, the elbow. How do I want to do this? This is going to have to move sideways. And it can't move that far, so it's got to move at least one space there. That sets us up perfectly here. Now, this has got to be what? This could be... No, this can't be a straight line, because then we'd have to have a straight line here as well. So we got to have elbows there. This could be a straight line, just fine. This could be an elbow. No, this can't be an elbow because then we can't put an elbow down there. Therefore, we have a straight line here. This is the elbow. That's the straight line. And that's the straight line. And we're done. Good puzzle, everybody. Thanks for showing up. All right, so where else can we find puzzles for this? Just one more? I'd like to do one that's not a 6 or a 7. I'll do a 6 or a 7 if I have to. I just know that it'll take a while. There's got to be several puzzles remaining in this set, right? There's 9 remaining. There's one here, which is a 6. There's one here, which is a 6. There's one there, which is a 3. Oh, that's different than the one I was seeing before. Let's just do this one. S shape here. This S shape can't go all that way, so it can't move there. So it has to move at least into here. This T shape. Let me count this bit. I got 5 by 5, which is 25. I have 6 of these, which is 24. So there's only one space that's not occupied by a tetromino. This S is going to have to move to the right. But other than that, I don't know. That means this L, I think, is there. It can't move out this. It can't move to the right because then it would take the T. So it has to move that far. This L has to also move up and down. That actually forces the T shape, which means everything else has to be perfectly locked in. And that's that. Now we have the gold window. That's what I wanted. Woo! We did it. Okay. With that, I'm going to take a break here. Thanks so much for watching. Hold on. Let me see if I have a script here. No, I don't. Goodbye.